Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for hanging out on the Comic Book Community Shout Out Show. It's going to be a good one, probably one of the best ones ever. I'm telling you right now because we got another person from Source Point Press in the house. He's backstage in the green room. I like calling it the green room. I like it more than backstage. You already know who he is. You saw the thumbnail. So what we gotta do real quick, because he's hanging out, taking his time to be on the show. So I want to run through the chat. I want to run through three channels I need to give a shout out to, and we're gonna hang out with my brother Frank Gogol. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, sir. So right now, guys, I want to say hello to everyone in the chat. Let me put the glasses back on here, guys. We got the comic book G Spot Robert. What's going on? Yo, Kevin, 1-2 Comic Talk. Hello, sir. Thank you for hanging out on the show once again. Thank you, everyone on YouTube, hanging out on the show. Mike Rogers in the house. Hello, what is going on? Yo, the Comic Collector 10. What's up, bro? Thank you for hanging out. All right, let's see. And that actually, man, I can't leave this out. It's Happy Mother's Day, so all you people out there, give your mom a hug. I don't have my mom, but I got my wife. I hug my wife, and she's gonna send a hug to my mother-in-law. So we'll spread the love around, man. So Happy Mother's Day to all those out there. Who else we got? We got California Blend in the house. What's going on, dear? Thank you for hanging out. Check out her stuff. She puts out great artwork. Rob Boswell, hello, sir. Thank you for hanging out. And the super chat is open. If you want to donate to the channel, you know what to do already. And once again, we got a very special guest. Don't miss it, guys. Source Point Press writer Frank Gogol in the house. And right now, I had to acknowledge these three channels real quick because I want to spend the rest of the night hanging out with Frank. At number one, man, we got Collect What. He's at 90 subscribers on Instagram. I don't know his they don't have one. But if you like to check out some comic book hauls, some unboxing, eBay purchases, and those Spider-Man booth boxes, and maybe a tip or two, check it out right there. Collect What at 90 subscribers. Let's get him to 100. And actually, he just received the Grail. So check that channel out right now. And at number two, coming in, we got Adrian APM at 276 subscribers. Let's push him to 300. You can find him on IG under the same name. And Adrian's a cool homie, man. Go check out his unboxing as well. Some comic book haul, Funko Pops, just a bunch of cool stuff. And the most important thing, I dig what he's doing with the celebrity voices. He's got one from Al Pacino. He's got one from Christopher Walken. And of course, we can't leave out. Let's get to the chopper. Let's get to the chopper. We all know Arnold, man. So check that channel out right now. And at number three, we got Comic Book Chris at 33 subscribers, IG under the same name. Chris is doing his thing as well, showing his comic hauls, his unboxing, some comic reviews. And as well, if you need a tip on probably like shipping out some comic books to the comic book community, especially if you purchase a book, you want to learn how to pack it up, he's going to show you how to do that, man. He's going to show you how to do that. There's a video on it. So there it is. Comic Big Chris at 33 subscribers. Had to run down these three real quick because I don't want to leave my brother in the background in the green room. He's coming on the show right now. Like I mentioned, man, independent writer Frank Gogol in the house from Source Point Press. Sorry. Let's get to this. How are you doing, sir?
You know, stuck in the house, so doing awesome. Doing good.
I've been trying to get Frank on the show for quite some time. Since last year. Things did not happen the way we wanted to. And right now, the opportunity is right. And I want to say thank you so much for hanging out right now and accepting the invite to hang out on the show. Sir, I mean, you're quarantined. I hope you're doing well, sir.
Yeah, like I said, getting by. But thanks for having me. I think you were supposed to be my original first YouTube show ever. Didn't work out, but we made it anyway. So
Yeah, we push forward, man, and things happen, and that's what is that's what happened. You know? I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie, Frank. I already told you, man. I'm a little nervous. I've been waiting for this for since last year, and we're gonna have a good time. And I just wanna kick it off here real quick, man. So, what motivated you to get into like writing, man? How did it all started with you writing books?
well, you said real quick, but that's a long fucking story, man. It's not even done yet. But the sort of long and short of it is, I grew up watching cartoons and Power Rangers, that Spider-Man animated series, Batman animated series. So like, sort of grew up with like a love of like superheroes and sort of sci-fi storytelling. I found comics when I was about 10, so 1997. First issue I ever bought was it's off a spinner rack at a Rite Aid. It was called Spider-Boy. It was the Marvel amalgam universe with DC. So it was like Superboy mixed up with Spider-Man, and it was a god awful comic. But I was hooked, you know. And then when I got to high school, like I took some writing classes and some English classes, and like that's sort of what was the sweet spot for me academically. Like those were the classes I enjoyed and did well in. So I just grew towards wanting to write comics because of those little sort of milestones throughout my first 20 years on this planet.
Oh man, yeah, I remember going through the spinning rack myself and finding some books, and I mean nowadays comics are a little pricey. Back in the day, a buck, $1.25 would get you a long way, and just that out there. You remember those days, I'm pretty sure.
Just barely, just barely. But yeah, no, I think Spider Boy was $1.50 when I bought it.
I was trying to make you look a little younger there, sir.
I am 32 and proud.
All right, I'm 44 and I'm getting fatter every day, but
Man, quarantine's not helping.
all right. And let's see here. I know, man. Before we talk about Dead End Kids and what a success that was, and then we got the new book. We're gonna talk about that later on. But let's talk about your earlier work, man. Let the people know about your earlier work.
Yeah. All right. So my first book was called Grief. It is it's a short story collection. I'm a big believer of taking like a slow and steady approach to doing things in my life. Like when I started writing comics, I decided I would start with short stories and kind of build up my storytelling muscles and move up to one shots and then miniseries, then ongoings, and sort of make it a natural progression. I always say it's like going to the gym, right? You want to bench 200, you got to start with like the 90-pound bar and then the 45-pound bar, and then add plates to it and get stronger and stronger. So like these were my 100-pound weights. But there are also just like ways for me to learn how to write. I started writing 4 years ago last month, so in April of 2016. And I started with these short stories, and very quickly I realized making comics is fucking expensive, like super expensive. I did about 5 of these short stories, and I was like, man, I gotta make some of this money back. I'm not gonna be able to keep doing this. So I wrote 5 more stories, packaged it together as what became Grief. We put a cover on it. I got some chapter pages made, turned into like a sort of nice packaged product. 10 good stories, really, really good production value on the book itself. And then I released it on Kickstarter. I kind of went in with like super low expectations. The goal was like $1,500. It was real cheap. And we were funded in hours on the first day, and the book went on to make like 3 times what we were looking for. So it was just like a really successful hit from the start. And then about a year later, in April of 2018, it came out in print through Source Press. I didn't actually submit the book myself. They submitted it for me, and they're going to pick it up without having ever talked to them about it. So that was kind of cool. I don't know that many people get published when they're getting published. So that's kind of like the double origin story. That's the origin of grief and the origin of how I landed at Source Point Press.
Right, cool. And I was wondering about about the Source Point Press, and that was the next question. How they've been treating you. I mean, how you had to probably be going like knocking on doors. Yo, I got this book, and well, they took you with open arms, and they took care of the rest, pretty much, right?
Yeah, no, they take really good care of me and all the other creators involved there. And like, I'm not just spouting some BS because they publish me, like they really do. It's just a really well-run company. It's not very corporatized, so like, there's not a lot of hoops to jump through. Like, at least not for me. I can't speak for everyone, but like, I wrote Dead End Kids, I made Dead End Kids, and I brought it to them. I was like, hey, I want to do this book, and they were like, okay. Like, it wasn't like, I built a little bit of a relationship with them because of grief and how well we did, and ever since, like the relationship's been really just, we're like one big family. I didn't even heroin. I was just telling the editor-in-chief Travis about it. I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna write this vampire Buffy kind of book. And he was like, you gotta go, like, it's a done deal. So like, it's just, I don't know. People say breaking into comics is hard, and I don't know that that's necessarily true. I think that it's just all about how you present yourself and like the quality of the stuff and like how much you like people recognize that kind of stuff. And those are the three things it's all about: and being.
And I'm well said. I mean, you just mentioned heroin. It's just that's a great book. I have to say. Finally was able to sit down and read it. And thank you for the digital copies. But more important, man, we cannot leave out one of the major accomplishments in your career is got to be the Ringo Award.
Yeah,
you can't leave that out, man.
Yeah, well, I always say that grief is kind of the book that keeps on giving. Like, and I used to say it jokingly, but now I kind of believe it. Like, it was a really successful Kickstarter in its own right. The first book that I ever got published, I didn't even have to submit it myself. It came in and sold extremely well. The first run sold out. It's going to a second print later this year when things pick back up. And then it got nominated for the Emmy Award for the Best Anthology. And in that category, it was unique because it was the only single author collection. So like, it's been really good to me. It was really exciting. We didn't win. Where We Live, the shooting book that Image did, won, and that was an absolutely incredible book to lose to. I'm very grateful for having been able to lose to them. But yeah, no, like getting the nomination was pretty cool. That's an industry award in my second and a half year doing this. So not bad.
All right, cool, man. And don't forget, guys, man, we're hanging out right now. Of course, Frank is in the house. We'll have some questions coming from the chat whenever we'll keep on talking throughout the show. But make sure you have your questions and be sure to drop them in the chat. And that way, Frank will be more than happy to answer them. And
make them real personal, too, like weird shit.
Yo, that's why we got a rapid fire, man. I got a rapid fire, and we'll make some weird shit out of that one too.
All right.
And let's see here. So let's get back to Dead End Kids, man. This thing was off, and that's where I wanted you on the show before that book dropped last year. And it didn't happen for whatever reasons, but that's all right, man. People were buying that book. They were out there hunting for that book.
I know.
LCS, I was one of them. I got mine right there. That's signed by you, sir. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Did you think that book was going to blow up that big?
Fuck no. Absolutely not. Hell no. Like I said, when we were talking about grief a minute ago, like I go into things with like really, really managed expectations. Part of it's probably like a defense mechanism against like setting my goals too high and being disappointed. The other part of it's just like the reality of comics. Not many people have like a first miniseries like do incredibly well. We sold more copies of Dead End Kids #1 than Walking Dead sold of #1. Like it's crazy.
Wow.
Different times, and we were able to do that because Walking Dead was so successful back then. But yeah, it's still I'll say it out loud. So yeah, no. When I was talking to Smith Point about the book and it was getting ready to come out, like I said, you know, I asked them what's an average source book do? What's an average indie book do on its first run? And they gave me the number. If we do like half of that, a third of that, like I'm gonna call that a win. Like this is my first miniseries, not who I am. You know, and let's just grow this thing. Like let's grow my career slowly. It's like the weight metaphor again. It's like, you know, we'll do this much this time, we'll do a little bit better next time, we'll keep building up over the course of the career. Then the book came out. Well, no, the book didn't. Then the book, and I got pushed back like 2 weeks. We got pushed back another 2 weeks because of Diamond. And actually, the first and second issue ended up coming up like 2 weeks apart. But like it was this weird feeling of reviewing everything. The first, second, and third issues, the weeks they came out, were the highest reviewed comic book roundup, all three of them. And like, you know, the buzzing on that and the eBay stuff kind of off. It was kind of crazy. We did a few variants that were going like insane amounts of money before the book came out. Like, honestly, I'm trying to figure out what the hell worked and like try to do that again. I don't know. I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't planning for it. And honestly, it got a little scary at one point. Like, I'll never forget it. The first issue ended up coming out on August 7th, like, you know, a month after it was supposed to come out. Maybe it was a couple weeks after it was supposed to come out. And I'm on the West Coast, and comic shops on the East Coast open at 11, so 8 o'clock in the morning here. 8:01, it started like shops in Maryland and New York, like asking me if they can get me just their 10, 15 copies, like second floors of it. And like, I don't know, man. Like, comic shops should know better. The creator can't get more copies. That's the Diamond does that. I have no control of it. But like, yeah, the copies not there until like October. Like for the first like every day, some shops calling a day, and then like yeah, coming in late September, we got off in October. But like, it was crazy. I was not ready for that situation, and I mean, in some ways, I learned trial by fire. Like, yeah, just thrown right in and I had to figure it out on the fly. But damn, honestly, like there would be
dude, man. I was just like amazed. Like when I first saw that book, and I was like, "This sounds interesting." You know, you got these kids. You know, they're going through so much. They got their own personal issues, and I was like, I remember I talked about that on the show, and they were like, "Man, whatever." It was like they were like, "Just, it's nothing." And that book took off, man. It was everywhere. People trying to find it, trying to flip it. How do you feel about people flipping your books when you? I mean, you gotta feel kind of good. I mean, when you see that.
So I mean, I've two minds of it, right? Like comics as an industry is an ecosystem, right? It's got publishers and creators and influencers and scalpers and flippers and whatnot, and people who consider themselves investors. Like I don't really have any judgment of anyone at any part of it. Like it doesn't matter to me. But like any other ecosystem, like when one part gets too big or out of control, like it can have devastating effects to the rest. And that's kind of what happened in the 90s. Yeah, it kind of got too big and too out of control. Like imagine like, a river in Alaska, it's full of salmon and the bears go eat the salmon. But if the bears eat the salmon, then, the plankton or whatever in the river get overpopulated and the river gets thrown out of whack and then the bears are starving because there's no more salmon. Like it's all about balance. So like on the one hand, I was like, yeah, keep selling those books put my name out there and make the book more valuable. But on the other hand, in the back of my mind, I was like, this is that dangerous territory where like we're seeing signs of the late '90s again, or mid '90s. But like I said, at the end of the day, the thing that I took away from it though is I was able to connect with some of those CBSI guys and the speculation guys, like the sort of the people who run the site, and I got to talk more about. I like to understand these things, and the thing that they kept telling me was that people usually eat up number one and they flip it and they're done with it. But the guys that they know who are doing it were reading the first issue and coming back for the second issue, and then you could see that in the sales for the second issue. Sales went up for issue 2, which never happens. So I don't know. At the end of the day, I'm just glad people like the book. If you're willing to throw down $20 for an single issue comic and then hang on to it rather than trying to flip it and make a buck, that means something.
Yeah, well said, Frank. Well said, Frank. And I'm happy to have a signed copy of Dead End Kids in my possession. And more important right now, guys, is the new book, man. It's the new one. Whew. No heroin, man. I can see where this is going. I like the little vampire Buffy stuff in it. It's pretty dope, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. I like this book better than Dead End Kids. I don't know that everybody else will, but I do.
The artwork is amazing. The artwork is freaking fire in this one, dude.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit of a touchstone between Dead End Kids and this book because the interior art for this book is done by Chris Madd, who did the covers for Dead End Kids. So I like to work with people over and over again, and keep my friends employed and keep them to myself so nobody else can work with them. I actually wrote the first issue of No Heroin before I wrote Dead End Kids, and Chris has been working on it for a long time. But just because I wanted to build up Chris's reputation and give him some more work, I was like, hey, you want to do the covers for this series that's going to come out first? And we've just been working together forever. And then on covers for No Heroin, we've got Alan Rabbit, who did some of the variants for Dead End Kids last year. I just like to keep people in constant rotation. Very lucky to work with incredibly talented people who make me look really good.
Yeah, you got a nice staff around you that's supporting you, and you guys work together very well. What was the inspiration for doing that story? This is the No Heroin, man.
Oh man, that's another big question. It's a lot of things. It's always a lot of things for me. So I actually wrote No Heroin #1 before I wrote Dead End Kids. I was planning to write Dead End Kids, and sort of in the back of my mind, I always wanted to write a Buffy kind of story. But the reality of comics and work for hire gigs is that maybe 7 people will ever get to write Buffy, or maybe 10, and you can't be one of those people. It's not up to you; it's up to the editors and the people, the publishers, and I don't like to hedge my bets. So I was like, someday I'll tell a Buffy story of some kind. And I was gearing up to write Dead End Kids, and then I did a convention in Pennsylvania, Great Philadelphia Comic Con, and Chris was tabling there. And prior to moving to California, I lived in New Jersey, and Chris and I shared a shop. So we were catching up over a beer after the show on Saturday night, and we were talking and catching up, and there's this conversation that always happens between writers and artists that are friendly. It's like, if you ever want to do something together, let's jam on a book. And the truth is, you only get to make so many comics, and comics cost a lot of money and take a lot of time, and you want to work with everybody, but you don't necessarily have the opportunity or means to work with it. You kind of say, yeah, man, if something comes up, and I absolutely would love that. And it's kind of like a polite thing to say, because you do mean it, but just not always realistic. And I said that to Chris, and we kind of left it at that. And then I did the show on Sunday, and then I'm playing back to San Francisco. It's a 6-hour flight. And by the time I got off the plane in SFO, I had written the first issue of Heroin on the plane. So it was a bunch of things coming together. Me wanting to work with Chris and wanting a story for us to do together. Chris being a really good horror artist and having a really good style for that. Me wanting to tell a story. And then sort of my own personal life experience with having people in my life who have struggled with addiction and wanting to sort of tell a different story about that. So it all kind of came together and poured out of me like this.
I mean, I kind of dig it, and now I can see how when I was reading the book, it has its moments where she's like calling her mom, and then the addiction, and then next thing you know, it just picks up, man. I just like where it's like, all right, this is cool. Next thing you know, boom, it's just like fire, dude. Now that's where I was like, all right, this is dope, man. And then I don't know if we could talk about issue 2, right? We can't talk about that.
We talked a little bit about that. I revealed the cover the other day, so like we could talk about the cover.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that, man, because when that book drops, issue 1 was fire. So
Did I not send you issue 2 to read? Did I send you issue 2 to read?
I did. I read it today, actually.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah,
I read it today, and I was like, all right, this is dope, man. And I was actually talking to 1-2 Comic Talk Kevin, and I said, yo, issue 1 is fire. He goes, oh, wait until you read issue 2. I was like, what? I was like, I was walking around the house reading it on the tablet. My wife was like, what are you doing? I was like, what the hell you think I'm doing, man? Getting ready for a damn show. I'm reading a damn comic book. And she's just laughing, man. She's like, you always get nervous. I was like, well, I got Frank coming on the show. How can I not, man? I've been waiting for this thing for a damn year already. She just looked at me. She starts laughing.
Yeah, no, I really like issue 2. I think it's the best thing I've ever written. It always changes in my head, like depending on the day. I really like the last story in Grief Embrace. I think that's the first thing I ever wrote, and I still think it's one of the best. I love the second issue of Dead End Kids a lot. The second issue of the series too. I think like the first issue of a series is always kind of like you got to set up the world and introduce the characters, and then like make people give a shit about them. And then like after all that work is done, you can get into the really cool stuff and like really like mess that character up a bunch. Yeah. That's what I excel at hurting people. Like that's my writer job.
But it was the way you introduced the characters, even in Dead End Kids and even in No Heroine. It's well done. It is well done. So I kind of dig that a lot. It's just a fun read, different read from of course we got Cape Crusaders out there, but it's something like this it is something different. That's the type of stuff I like to read.
Yeah. Well, the thing I like about it, I wrote it, so I can't be a fan of it. But if I was picking up the book, the thing I would like about it is that it's sort of a hero story about somebody who's not a hero, and like who is very bad at trying to do the hero thing, and that's kind of that's where the title of the book comes from. It's called No Heroine because it's about addiction and somebody trying to stay sober, but it's also about this woman who's really bad at being a hero.
Yeah.
I think my title will cover.
Oh man, it's gonna be a success. We're looking forward to once Diamond and all this stuff.
Right.
I mean, that's got to be pissing you off too, man.
You know what? I when I lived in New Jersey, we had Hurricane Sandy, and like that was absolutely fucking devastating. Like my apartment washed like away, and like most of the stuff I owned was destroyed, and same thing with like my family and friends, and like so many other people. And, like I just have like a perspective about shit like this. Like when it's this big, it's not about me. Like it's everybody's, especially this. This isn't just like New Jersey, New York, and Maryland. This is the entire world is like under the thumb of this shit. So like, it's not ideal. I'm a little frustrated because I felt like the book has legs and it's going to do really well either way. But it would have, I had like a goal for a number of units sold for first issue and like what it would do for my career and stuff like that. And like I've sort of had to reevaluate what's reasonable right now, and that's fine. Like there are people who are not working anymore and like can't feed their kids. Like if my comic book doesn't do well, I'll make another one. It's not the end of the world. Some people are actually having their worlds end right now. But all that said, we've done a few variants. They've all filled out in like minutes. The buzz for the book has been really good. A lot of retailers are doing. I think we have 10 retailer exclusive covers right now. The reviews are phenomenal right now. I think it's got like an average rating of 9.3, so it's right up there with like the average ratings for Dead End Kids 1, 2, and 3. So I think a couple of books have sold for over $100 on eBay already.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, so like all that tells me that it would have been a bigger success, but it's going to be a big success regardless. Like I'm not worried about it. I'm worried about the world. Yeah, this will be fine. And that's a big part of why I've been doing some of that retailer relief stuff. One of the variants we did was a retailer relief one where people could buy it. It was pretty expensive, like $50. But all that money went to me donating copies of Grief and Dead End Kids and some single issue comic shops so they could have product. And then 10 copies of that went to comic shops for them to sell to bring money directly into their stores. Well, like, you know, it's kind of like finding the silver lining in a bad situation, right? I've been able to use the book to help people. And if it doesn't sell 5,000 copies, this is much more important to me right now. Making sure that people have food on their table, these comic shops stay open. And there is a silver lining that, you know, the book is getting exposure by doing all this. Like, not that that's the reason I'm doing it, but, you know, it's on more retailers' radar because I was able to donate some copies to them.
Nice, man. Nice.
I try to stay positive, even though I write dark books. I try.
Hey, man, that's the only way to be during these times, man. We all need to be positive and push forward and support each other in any way possible. You know, if you want to buy digital books, buy them digitally. You know, be safe when you go to the LCS. I was actually happy to go to the LCS. Yesterday I went. I bought some stuff.
What's your local shop?
What was that?
What's your shop?
There's one shop called Dombrowski's right here in Winter Haven, Florida.
Okay.
And then there's one in Bartow, Florida called Main Street Comics.
Okay.
And I haven't been to Main Street, but Dombrowski's is they're right down the road, so it was actually more convenient to go there. And he just had a lot of long boxes that he just purchased. So I was just scrolling through them, found some nice key books, great condition. So nice. I was happy to help him out. It was a good feeling to walk into the shop and just smell, you know.
Yeah.
And to see his face, and I was hanging out with two of my buddies, and it was pretty cool, man. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to get back to my shop. My shop's been completely closed, no online sales or anything like that, like no curbside. So I haven't gotten to see my comic shop guy in like two months now. And I haven't had, there's like no way to be giving him money throughout all this. So I'm excited for I think we're gonna get curbside starting next week or the week after here in San Francisco. So I'm excited to start putting some money back in his pocket. Let me order some Power Ranger variants. So, but yeah.
What was that last part you said? I couldn't hear that.
I wanted to find a way to like put some extra money in his pocket, so I ordered some of the expensive Power Ranger variants that I've been putting off for a while.
He just dropped the Power Rangers, man, and we were talking off camera. He's a Power Rangers fan. I'm a Voltron fan, but Frank, he loves some Voltron too.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you. You mentioned Power Rangers, Voltron. That had to be one of your favorite cartoons of all time, then, right?
Yeah, I did like Voltron quite a bit. I watched Thundercats and Voltron together with my brother. They were on like in the same 1 hour block on Cartoon Network in the 90s. My brother's a bit older than me, and he would watch those. And I definitely liked Voltron better than Thundercats. I think I liked Voltron because it was a lot like Power Rangers. Yeah, they got animals that turn into a giant robot, and they have like uniforms that all match. But as I got older, you could DNA in Power Rangers, not the other way around. So I really enjoyed the Netflix adaptation of Voltron. I thought that was like peak perfect Voltron story. Because one of the problems with the original Voltron is it's kind of like monster of the week and nothing ever changes. Just like, another giant fucking monster. Let's beat it up with a robot, which is fine. It's entertaining. I loved it. But seeing like it sort of like this grand war story with like escalating, and characters like, actually getting killed and shit. Like it was the Voltron I always wanted. It's what I want for Power Rangers. Like I want an adult version of it, which maybe I'm ready. Who knows?
So I'm sitting here, man. And we're talking about cartoons. We're talking about dead end kids. We're talking about no heroin. We're just getting to know Frank right now in the house from Source Point Press, guys. I have all his uh, links in the description below if you want to find out more about him, want to follow him on social media. I got the IG, Twitter. There's another link I posted earlier. I think that's where you can subscribe and get a free copy of Thin Kids. That is the, let me see here. I'm just scrolling back up here.
It's my newsletter.
There it is. That's the newsletter, man.
Yeah, it comes out every 2 weeks ish. Sometimes a little longer between them, but it's just like all my news and like the projects I'm working on. There's exclusives for it. So if you like variants and stuff, we did a couple exclusives through the newsletter last year for subscribers only. I try to take care of people, and but also like it's nice because it's like direct to your inbox. Like you don't have to like miss stuff on social media or like always be on Twitter to find out what's going on. It's just all right there in a list every 2 weeks, and it's easier for me. It lets me know that you guys know everything. What cons I'm going to be at, what I'm working on, just general goings on, recommendations for people who want shit to read.
Cool. Yeah, man. Make sure you sign up to the newsletter, man. And I was looking behind you, man. I was gonna say, what about your collection of comic books and things of that nature? But holy crap, dude, your shit behind you that's kind of I don't know, dude. That is what you got back there. If you want to tell the people,
sure,
your collection back there, dude. And do you have any grails and any raw books that you really dig the most? What is going on behind you there, man? What's that collection, man?
All right, so a few questions there. Let me do this in some kind of sensible order. So when I was doing Grief, one of the ways I funded paying for the comic to get made was I had a really nice omnibus collection, like hardcover, big, expensive books. I probably had, a $7,000 collection of omnibuses, and I ended up before I moved to California and when I was making Grief, selling them to pay for Grief. So at one point I had no books, and then over the last 4 years, I sort of built up that collection by replacing it all with trades. I'm generally a visual reader just because I can take it anywhere with me and like sort of be studying comic, screenshots I like or pages I like, and I find that cool as a comic book writer. But I also like to have hard copies that I can like just grab off the shelf. I like comics. They kind of sit in a box in the dark and you don't open a bag of wood and fuck them up. Like, I kind of triple dip depending on what the book is. Like, sometimes I read the digital. I really like the book. I buy the trade, and if it's a series that I love or that one of the ones I collect, I'll buy the single issues. So I don't think there's a right or wrong way to consume comics. I just think it's what's the function. So I've got a little bit of everything. Behind me, there are 6 or 7 tall bookshelves. It's my Marvel and DC stuff. The Marvel on top, DC below my wrist. And it's characters that are relevant. I'm trying to get like a full run of everything. So like, you can see sort of like here, it's all the Spider-Man that's been released. After that, it's Avengers, Captain America, before. I just kind of want to have the full library for the characters that I really like. With DC, I'm a little more not the DC guy, but I like DC characters. There's some that are really good, and as I've got older, more DC. But I'm a little more picky. And then behind me, right behind my computer, I've got 6 shelves that are about half this size, and that's filled with all my sort of creator and stuff. So like you saw Jimbo, Invisible, Grant Morrison stuff, Rick Remender stuff, Jonathan Hickman stuff, David Mack. Those are the things that are in my eyesight right now. And then personal collection, it's pretty eclectic. It's stuff that I love. Like I've got an almost 4. I'm just missing 5, which is Doctor Doom is the most expensive issue. I've got a lot of 2, Avengers #1. Some of the first comics, like First Ultron, First when Captain America, when Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver joined the team, kooky issue. Then I've got some older 90s first editions of The Crow, some of the Bar, editions of Kabuki, some of David Mack. Just some odd ones. It's a nice collection. It's not very big anymore.
I mean, look at that, man. It's still big, dude. I mean, just look. Yeah. That's epic, dude. I mean, do you remember the first comic book you ever purchased?
Yeah, it was that Spider-Boy comic I mentioned earlier. It's sort of Marvel amalgam DC book, Spider-Man mixed up with Superboy. It's a terrible comic. I still have it. I still have that. And the first comic I feel like I bought as a collector was I'm gonna get the number wrong. It was Spider-Man 524. It was the first red and gold costume issue. It might be 520. But like 18 spring, I was getting ready to go to college, and it was right around the time that I wanted to be a comic book writer. So that to me is a milestone book, and I think that and Civil War kind of pushed me over the edge into all out love.
Okay, cool, man. I was thinking here, since you are a writer, there's got to be one of your favorite writers or one or two of them. Do you have one or two of your favorite writers all time, or a writer nowadays?
I think that there's sort of two buckets there. There's my favorite writers and the writers who really influence me, and they're not necessarily the same set. I really love and am influenced by Rick Remender and Jonathan Hickman. Actually, just yesterday I did a masterclass seminar with Jonathan, and sort of got some behind the scenes on his process, and that was pretty cool. Money well spent. And then Rick and I, over the years, have sort of gone back and forth a little bit. When Hurricane Sandy ruined my comic collection, he actually mailed me out a big pack of his comics signed. I mean, that was a very cool thing that happened as sort of silver lining, like we were talking about. Those are both guys that I've interacted with a bunch and have really influenced me. And their writing's just they're kind of amazing for different reasons. Rick tells really good character-centric stories. And Jonathan tells these big, sweeping sort of epics. And ideally, I'd to be somewhere in the middle of those two things with my storytelling. I'm definitely closer to Rick in terms of the stories I tell. Getting started. So, in terms of writers that I like reading a lot, Grant Morrison always kind of messes me when I read him. I don't really always understand what I'm reading, but it's good, and I like kind of looking at that, picking it apart. Rick and of course James O'Barr is one of my favorite books of all time. It's a wildly beautiful book. And the story is just everyone thinks it's kind of violent, dark book, a love story. People kind of ask me, that's about a guy who loves somebody so much they come back from the dead. And most people don't feel that. So yeah, I mean, so much as a writer, and he's not the best person on the planet, but his book again is a book that really influenced me. I always recommend that to people. I mean, all day, Dan Slott, and his early Spider-Man stuff, really influential on me. JMS stuff. If you name there's a good chance that something that's influenced by some of theirs.
Cool, man. That is awesome. I think I got back into comic books, and I believe it was 2016, and I picked up some Ultimate Spider-Man, a Bendis run.
Yep.
I just couldn't put them down, man. From there, our house got broken into and took a lot of stuff. And I told my buddy, and I've said this story before. I said, man, before the house got broken into, I said, I want to get back into comics, man. He was like, we'll get there, man. We'll go to the shop. We'll get to the shop one day. And that happened. And then I told my wife, I said, I need to get out. I need to go. I need to get back into comics. And I told her, I said, what's my limit? She was like, oh, you can 200 or 150. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to spend that much in comics. And next thing you know, I spent way more than that. But man, that's how it all got started. I bought some Flash, and then that's how it all started, man.
Yeah, no, I feel you. When I was buying full time right at the end of high school, I was spending a lot, and I wasn't just buying books. I was buying like statues and action figures. I mean, I've really scaled down over the years just because it's more important to me to spend money on making comics than having comic stuff. But yeah, man, if I wasn't doing comics, I would be sitting in like a tight little room full of statues and shit. I get it.
All right. Let's see here, man. Let's see what's going on. Don't forget, guys, to check out Frank on his social network, social media network, and all that. I got the links in the description below. And make sure you sign up to his newsletter. I see a bunch of people saying, I just did it. That's pretty dope. And let's see here, guys. There was one question that was running through my head. If there's a story or a character that inspires you to write, what would it be? Who would it be? I know probably Buck would be up there.
Yeah.
How about
it's more like writers and their body of work than specific characters. Like Ed Brubaker is a big influence for me, and like I love like him and Matt Fraction's run on Iron Fist is one of my favorite books of all time. Like it's the reason that I love Iron Fist. So Ed Brubaker and stuff he's done, Joss Whedon, the Avengers. I mean, he's got an incredible body of work, and it's always sort of pushing the boundaries of storytelling. Like a modern, more dark version of Stan Lee. I think, like I said, Grant Morrison, Rick Remender, Jonathan Hickman, anything they've worked on. I mean, I think if I had to pick one character who's influenced me, definitely Buffy. Those first 7 seasons, and then the 5 seasons of comic books that Dark Horse did, like really just wonderful story. Really, really good character. There's a lot of Buffy in this I do.
So you mentioned Ed Brubaker. Did you read his run right now on Criminal?
I'm working my way towards it. I got to the original Criminal stuff like after it had been published at, I think it came out through Icon at Marvel first, and then that went over to Image. So I read the first 2 arcs of the original stuff, and then the little skinny one-shot stories he's been putting out the last couple of years, like All My Heroes Are Donkeys, I think was one of them. So I'm getting there. I'll get there eventually.
I'm reading the run right now. He just dropped on Image, and that thing it's a fantastic read, man.
Yeah, the last thing I read by him was Kill or Be Killed, which I liked quite a bit. Okay. And then before that, The Fade Out, which I also liked a lot. Like I like noir era Hollywood stuff a lot. So that book I think that's the book that really turned me on. Ed Brubaker. Like I was more a Matt Fraction fan because of Iron Fist than anything else. But yeah, they both did it.
All right, cool, man. Cool. I know people were dropping some questions earlier in the show.
I hope they're weird.
Yo, if you got some questions, man, drop them right now. Let me see here. There was one question I wanted to ask you, man. What can the people expect from you, Frank, this year in 2020, man? What you got going on?
I don't know anymore, man.
No heroin, but
I don't know anymore. I have no idea. No heroin's gonna drop eventually. Some version of it will come out on release day, and then Diamond will release a version of it when they get back on track. So if you order it through SourcePoint Press, you'll get it on the 24th of June, and then it'll come out monthly after that. If you ordered it through Diamond or through a comic shop through Diamond, it'll probably be about a month delayed because everything's catching up. But essentially over this summer into the fall, I'm doing no heroin. Just this morning, I sent the script for Dead End Kids 2 #1 to name Jordan, and was talking to Chris about the cover. So that was originally going to start dropping in November. So I might be pushing it a little bit. But yeah, those are my 2020 projects. If Dead End Kids 2 does well, I have a plan for one more story. I'm working on a couple of things for the next couple of years. I've got sort of like a 3-year timeline. So I've got a book that the pitch for it is not like reflective of what the actual book will end up being, but essentially like the alien loose inside the Power Rangers magazine. Like what would that look like? It's not that. That's a book that I'm after one more time. Then I'm working on a kind of like Silent of the Taken, the Liam Neeson movie.
Okay.
It's called the Fractal. Sort of like I like serial killers, I like weird serial killers. Like I think everybody does, but I always want to do a book like that, like figure out like what my version of that is. So it's got a little bit of superpowers in it. It's a little weird. I'm excited to put that one out there because those two books, Fractal, are going to be very different than Adam sort of like a little bit of a left turn for me in terms of the stories I'm telling. But they're going to be great. I'm very excited for those.
All right, nice, man, nice. There was one more question I want to ask you, and then the chat could drop some questions in the chat right now. So, and so how, just going back through your whole journey from beginning to right now with all these books that you've written from the very get-go, how has your life been? You know, how has it changed? With all these stories that you could relate to, and how's that changed you in your life? I hope that question make any sense.
Yeah, no. One of the things I found that I get out of writing is a little bit of it makes me reflect on things. So writing grief definitely made me kind of look back at my relationship with my mom, which was very strained. My mom had addiction problems as a child, and like I didn't live with her for most of my life, and like that relationship was pretty strained. Then all this on so God, and then she ended up passing away when I was in college after we hadn't seen each other for quite a long time. But in grief, the grief, like you get a real insight into a lot of that. But yeah, we all carry shit with us, and we all have sort of unresolved things in our lives, some more than others. And you know, writing helped me kind of deal with these things I had thought I had dealt with and had grown through and past. And writing Dead End was very much the same thing. You know, I had a pretty crappy childhood, so the kids I grew up with, and sort of looking through that situation with adult eyes and stuff, you know, just kind of gave me a new perspective on the whole thing, and you know, this idea that nostalgia is not this great thing that we should lust after. Like nostalgia is kind of a lie we tell ourselves to focus on the good stuff, but it kind of ignores all the bad shit you go through when you're a kid, and people go through some bad shit when they're kids. So it's just, you know, that was for me. Writing No Heroin was definitely, you know, again, exploring that stuff with my mom and my dad who had addiction problems, but also the kids I grew up with, you know, who were the basis for Dead End Kids who grew up with having problems themselves and very close to me. So it's all just me kind of exploring my own bullshit, honestly, like and wrapping it up in these stories. But the thing that I realized is, you know, especially with like the addiction stuff, is like not many people are removed from it. The number of people who have let read the first issue of No Heroin, you know, reviewers and fans and stuff like that who have gotten early looks, a lot of them have come back and tell me, like, you know, I struggled with addiction too, and this spoke me. It's like a huge number, or people saying, you know, I had somebody in my life who struggled with this, and like, you know, this book resonated with me. And it just goes to show like how big the problem is, and to be able to shine light on it in a way that speaks to people. Like, it's kind of the goal. Like, I don't really give a shit about making money. I have a day job and it pays really well, and I don't do comics to get rich and famous. We do telling stories and like, connecting with people. So like, that's one of the big takeaways that I can do that too. Like, I'm hitting the goal. Like, again, like, I don't obviously everyone can give me all of their money. That's pretty tough. But if I never make enough comics, I'll still keep doing it because it's reaching people. You know?
Yeah, and now as I read your books, and I can find myself like at certain moments I'm like, damn, I can put myself in that situation, and it's just it's dark, but it's a road where it's like you can put yourself in that situation as you're reading the book, which like I enjoy a lot. And I remember giving my friend the Dead End Kids, and he read it. He was like, "Dude, that's some dark stuff, man." Like, but it's a great read. He was just like, "Yes, it is." So everyone you could probably relate to it in some shape or form. I mean, whether you don't have to be into drugs or whatever, but there's other things, man. I mean, actually, on No Heroin, you got the girl that's getting beat up. So there it is, right there. The relationship. So that's just something else.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's one of the things I realized early, is that like I don't want to say this in such a way that it comes off offensive. So nobody take it the wrong way, but it doesn't really matter. Like, if you're a Republican or a Democrat, or if you're black or Puerto Rican or white, or you're a guy or a girl, like when you boil everything down, like everybody's life is at the super big level the same. You're born, things suck, and then you die. Like, the universal experience is bad happening. Like, no, not everybody gets good stuff in the life, but everybody definitely has bad stuff in their life. Whether it's addiction problem or childhood trauma or whatever it is, like nobody gets without at least one bad experience. And I think that's part of the reason why they're speaking to people is because they look that shit right in the face. Like, they address it. They don't skirt around it. And that includes a murder mystery, but like that's just kind of like that's like the clothes on the body. The body is about having a crappy childhood, and a lot of people have their childhoods. And No Heroine is the vampire monster hunter story, but it's about a person who wakes up every day and wants to be better than who she was and who can't really.
Let me just close this door.
Nah, this is my show now.
No, they said background noises. So I wanted to close the door real quick, man.
I got you.
Man, you can take the show away, man. You can do whatever you want to do, man.
But but like I was saying, like I think the books are talking to people because on some level, no matter who you are or what you've been through, like nobody has had a perfect childhood and not had to struggle with something, and no one has ever. There's not a person alive who hasn't woken up and said, "Hey, I want to be better today than I was yesterday." Like, and that's, I mean, with drugs, but on a big level, her issue is wanting to be a better person, and everybody does. Like, on some, you want to be. If you're a runner, you're faster. If you're a weightlifter, you want to be stronger. If you're an artist, you want to be better. If you're a father, you want to be the father you can be. Like, it's a very universal idea to want to improve yourself, and in a weird way, like, as dark as the books are, like, ultimately pretty hopeful, right? Like, That End Kid, dark book that says that shit that happens when you're a kid doesn't have to make you a bad person when you grow up. It doesn't have to. It's kind of something cool. Anyway, I'm getting into real weird.
It's all good, man. It's all good. I'm happy that he was able to come on the show. We're hanging out still with Frank right now. Be sure to check out his newsletter. I got the links to all his stuff in the description below. People are signing up right now. I just see him just keep popping up.
Yeah.
1-2 Comic Talk is in the house. He's being a good moderator. Thank you, sir, for doing that for us. And don't forget, guys, drop your questions in the chat for our brother right now, Frank in the house. And we'd like to do a little segment. We call it a little rapid fire, man. He likes these questions, a little weird, man. Let's have some fun. Let's talk some shit. And let's see, man. Let's see. I'm gonna have to say, man, I'm gonna kick it off with something simple. Probably your favorite horror movie all time, man.
Scream.
Scream.
Yeah, you know what? It's not one of the classics in like the sense that it's got a monster or anything, but I think watching Scream, I think Scream came out in 1995 or 96. Watching that about the same time I started watching Buffy, and like seeing this meta commentary on horror films, like it kind of woke me up to the idea that you can analyze these things. And like that's a big part of like how I learned how to write is like looking at stories and seeing a story that examined horror stories. What even at a young age kind of like blew my mind. And like now we're seeing stuff like I just watched Community for the first time, and Community is like super meta. And like we wouldn't have something like that, or Cabin in the Woods is another horror story that's kind of examining horror stories, a Joss Whedon story too. So like that kind of like Grant Morrison writes meta stuff. Like it's just really in my wheelhouse. I love it. Yeah, and I just saw that they're going to make a fifth one, and I'm amped as hell for that, even though I know it's not going to be that
good. Man, Scream! I remember watching that. Actually, that was a good movie. I remember going to the theaters after work. Right downtown Philadelphia, went to this crappy ass theater. It smelled like straight piss. I went in there. I was with my buddy, and we watched this movie. It was well done, man. That movie was good.
It's smart. It's a smart movie.
Yep.
So Scream. It's my one-word answer.
There it is, man. All right, and number 2, man. We got 4 more questions, guys. If you got any questions, this is rapid fire. So drop the questions right now, man. 1 question, 1 answer. This is how we do it. And I want to, just look here. And there's let me see here. I gotta go, man. Your favorite comic book all time. Something in the background, but not in the background, but it was something you was talking about backstage before the show went on live. What you got?
Oh, I don't remember what I said. I don't remember what I said, but here's what I'll answer. Where is it? All right, The Crow. We were talking about it a little while ago. The Crow is just, I think it's such a unique story in that it's this very like late 80s, very violent thing, like in the vein of RoboCop, like hyper violent. But at its core, it's a love story. It's like I said, it's about a dude who loved the chick so much that he came back to life from the dead to take revenge on her. I don't know if you saw this when I flash across the screen, but this is the French version of the book. I picked this up when I was in Paris last year. And that's kind of like one of my weird collecting things is every time I go to a new country, I try to get it in a new language if I can find it. France has one of the best comic book scenes in the world. I mean, like you think like America's got some of these collected editions. Everything comes out in hardcover over there. Everything is super uniform and like looks amazing, and it's a lot more affordable. I mean, they know what they're doing over there. I wish I read French.
Oh man, I wish I did too. I gotta make maybe one day I gotta make it over there to France and take the wifey out there.
I was not super into the idea, but then I went there and it was awesome. Like I was wrong.
You found any key books while you was out there?
I'm trying to think. I definitely went through some long boxes and stuff. I don't think I picked up anything too cool. I got some Tintin stuff, like some original Tintin stuff. Like I don't like Tintin very much, but yeah, it's a classic European comic, and I was like, yeah, I can't not pick it up.
Right. There's a question coming from Apex Comics. Frank, favorite comic artist, man?
Ooh, that's a tough one, and I think I don't have one answer, but I can probably list a few. I mentioned David Mack a couple times. Like I really like watercolor painting in like general, not just in comics. And like I love his brush and ink style, and like he does a lot of mixed media stuff when he does covers. He's definitely one of the more interesting artists doing comic art. So definitely David Mack.
His kabuki stuff.
Yeah, the first run of Kabuki is one of my favorite books of all time. It's just got some really cool transition stuff in the art, and it's another kind of hyper violent book that's really about this intergenerational trauma from mother to daughter, and like it's this very cool story on top of looking awesome. So definitely David Mack, David Aha, who did Iron Fist with Fraction Brubaker and did Hawkeye with Fraction. Sometimes I just like a clean look on a book. Like it doesn't have to be hyper detailed. It could just be really well designed pages. So David Aha was a big influence on Dead End Kids and like why I wanted to work with Nanad, and his art style is pretty similar. And the lettering from Dead End Kids was modeled after the lettering in some of David Aha's books. Who else? I really like Andrew Fiorentino, who did. He does a lot with Jeff Lemire. He's doing Gideon Falls right now. He did Secret Empire, which I know a lot of people liked, but it was the issues he did were some of the looking issues of comics that year. He's just got like a really strong design sense. You don't see in a lot of comics. So I'd say those are my big three right now.
Have you had the opportunity to meet David Mack?
Yeah. Actually, let me see if it might be too far away for me to reach, but no, let's see. I've actually gotten some commissions done by him over the years.
Oh man!
I got a Hawkeye that he did for me a couple years ago.
Oh shit, dude!
7 years ago, and then he also did for me a Gwen Stacy, who's my favorite character of all time.
Wow!
So I love David's work. He's gotten really big since I met him back in the day, and it's been a little hard to afford some of his stuff lately. But I'll support him to the end of time.
I reached out to him and I was like, just give me 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just hang out with me for a few minutes. And I think I comment on something on, how to put like IG, like hashtag IG comics, whatever. And I comment on something and he was like, we'll see. But I was like, well, at least fly back, so.
He's a busy guy these days. I mean, he's doing what I think he did the closing credits for Winter Soldier. He did the opening credits for Jessica Jones. I mean, he's getting some pretty high profile gigs. He's blown up the last few years, for sure.
1-2 Comic Talk Kevin said, who would you like to co-write a story with, sir?
If I could choose somebody, probably Jonathan Hickman. Like I was saying earlier, like he tells like these big sweeping epic tales, and like that's something I'm working towards in my own work, like trying to be better about doing that kind of stuff. So like I wouldn't want to co-write with him so much as like write with him to learn. But if I could pick one person to work with in comics, it would absolutely be him, hands down, just because I want to be able to do that. I'm a learner. Like I'm always trying to learn. I spent the morning this morning reading a reading book. Like I can obviously write into comics, but I'm still trying to learn how to do them better every day.
Cool, man. You just seems like everything you've been doing lately is just from day one. You're getting better and better and better.
Well, we didn't talk about this, but part of that is like guilt driven. When I first started making comics, my wife, who was at the time my girlfriend, and we were living together, essentially, like the long story short, gave me permission to take a year off of work to not work a full-time day job so I could learn how to write comics. And that was the whole year of 2016. And like when somebody gives you like that and like that, like you owe it to that person to wake up every day and make the most out of it. Like I'm back to work now, and I've been working for 3 years again, and a full-time job. But like I still get up at 5 or 6 in the morning to do reading and read, and I wait to mail out packages to fans, and like I have 2 full-time jobs now, and I spend more hours a week doing comics than I do when I'm a day job, and. Yeah, like I said, just me making sure that opportunity wasn't wasted. It was a big fucking deal.
And you know what? Hard work is paying off, dude. And man, I'm happy to be on this ride with you and see where this is going to go. And so much going on, man. We talking about what he just mentioned, but man, we got one more question for the rapid fire, man. We can't. It was only 4. We need one more, man.
At least.
One more. Drop the craziest question out there right now. Come on, guys. There's got to be a question out there for Frank that's going to blow his mind away. I mean, I asked this question last week when I had Jason from Source Point Press. Jason Douglas was in the house.
Oh, yeah. Jason's a buddy of mine. Everyone should go down and read Parallel. It's super good.
Man, I purchased that book. I'm waiting for it to get in the mail. I can't wait. And I said, "Yo, Jason, man, you ever farted in the elevator?" He goes, "Hell yeah!"
That's how you get everybody out of it.
Yeah, man. Let's see here. No one's got a question for Frank, man. Come on, gotta have a question.
Whoever asks the question gets to read No Heroin #1.
Oh, there it is, man.
First best question. Let's go.
Oh,
Kevin, don't count. He already read it.
All right, Apex Comics said, your favorite actor. There it is, man. Your favorite actor, man.
Are we gonna call that the best question?
I know, but it's got to be something better than that, Apex, man.
I think Leonardo DiCaprio. He's pretty good in most of the stuff. I like Scorsese movies, and they do a lot of good stuff together. So yeah, Leo's up there.
Man, but the mafia movies, man. If you want, you talking about, man, Leonardo. It's all right, but if you want to, I'll pick it up a notch there, man. Up there with best actor, that'd be De Niro or Al Pacino.
You're up there, yeah. I agree. I mean, The Departed is my favorite movie. So actually, you know what? I'd say Jack Nicholson before
Yes.
DiCaprio. So I think DiCaprio is the better actor. I just like Jack better.
All right, we got a question here coming from J Hood Creative. What do you do if you get stuck 4 ideas?
That has never ever happened to me, and I think that happens or doesn't happen for a couple of reasons. One, comics take so long to make and they're so expensive, and that makes them even longer to make. By the time I'm working on something, I've got a new idea. Like I'm sitting on literal years of ideas at this point. But I think the other reason is my mentality is that there's not like writer's block isn't a thing. Like I'm a pretty strict planner before I start the actual writing process. So by the time I sit down to write the script, it's like the story's figured out. So I'm not blocked. And I've consumed enough TV and movies and comics and novels and stuff that like story structure and stuff like that's kind of innate. Like I don't think too hard about it anymore. I just kind of figure out if I ever do get something that's kind of feeling like I'm not making any progress. I kind of just write until I break it or go for a walk. I walk a lot. My job is about 3 miles from my house, and I live in the city, so like I walk to work. And I'll usually listen to music and some podcasts and some audiobooks and stuff. But I also spend a lot of that time kind of in the background. My brain's kind of processing things. So like, if I ever am stuck, I usually don't realize it because my brain's kind of processing in the back, and like by the time I go to sit and write, like it's kind of figured out. But yeah, I guess like the question is like, what would I do if I did get stuck? I'd go for a walk, take a shower, do something else, and kind of just like let it work itself out. I do find that when I actively try to figure things out, like I don't really get it anywhere. Like I mentioned, I was working on the script of Dead End Kids 2 #1 recently. And there was 2 pages that I was having a hard time kind of figuring out. And like I would go for walks and try to figure it out, and like I wouldn't get anywhere. So I just threw the audiobook on to finish the walk. But then, I was sitting on the couch, and it kind of like clicked into place for me, and like I figured out a lot of writing is just kind of sitting and writing and writing a bunch of bad versions of something, trying to figure out where the good version is. Think of it like working like you want to make a sculpture. You kind of like make a bad early version of the sculpture first, and then you start like putting in the details and like, refining it. And that's like a first draft of anything is usually bullshit, like garbage, and like but you got to get the version out so you know what the good version is. It's like peeling back the layers, I guess. And there's like a diamond in the middle of the onion. With a bad metaphor.
Man, cool, man. Mike Rogers just jumped in and said read it and loved it.
Yeah. Sent that to Mike the other day.
Nice, man. Cool. And we went over the hour mark. I didn't want to keep Frank on the show that long. I know he's busy. He's got the wifey to spend some time with, and we went over an hour and 16 minutes right now. And I was thinking here, there's one question. Are you a gamer? A lot of people are into games and stuff like that. Are you into that type of stuff?
I play video games. I wouldn't consider myself a gamer. Like I'm pretty in all the things that I consume, like comics and books and audiobooks and TV and movies. Like I'm pretty selective, but I do all of it. So yeah, I definitely play games. I actually I'm a big hockey fan, and the hockey season got canceled because of all this. So I've been playing a lot of NHL 20 just to kind of fill that void in my life. Yeah, no, I'm playing God of War right now.
Okay.
I played Resident Evil 2 and 30 remakes around Easter a couple weeks back. I've been working my way through the Uncharted series over the last few months. Finally on the fourth one. Yeah, I mean, like more video games recently than I normally would, but I definitely if there's a series I love, like I love Metal Gear. If they ever put out another Metal Gear game, I'll play that on day one. And
yeah,
100% the trophies. Like I'd rather play one really good video game than 10 just okay video games. So
you mentioned you're a hockey fan. You know what? Let me tell you, man. Flyers they were playing better.
better than what?
They were playing. They stepped it up a little bit, man.
Listen, all I'm going to say is that Boston had a very large lead on first place in the league. So in my book, they won the season.
Oh, come on, man.
As Boston,
standings were getting better, man. The standings were like,
as a Boston,
right, let me check the standings. The Flyers were up there. They were playing pretty good. Even though they were broken in the playoffs, it wouldn't matter. That's what they always do.
You know what? I got some built-in prejudices having grown up in New Jersey. Like all Philly teams are not my favorite.
Come on, everything here is Philly, man. We could talk about sports.
I see it, and I kept my mouth shut. You brought it up. Listen, yeah, man. I'm a Boston fan through and through, except for football. I hate the fucking Patriots so much. Hate them. I actually grew up a 49ers fan and then ended up living in San Francisco, so like that worked out.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Sharks, Celtics, not Sharks, Bruins, Celtics, and what's that other sport? Red Sox.
Yeah. Hey, man. Boston, where's it at, man? They got some good stuff, man. They got some great.
They've been real good, like as a city for like the last 10 years. It's been sort of my golden age. I was actually in Boston when they won the World Series in 2013 and 2014, and then I was in LA when they beat the Dodgers last year. Wow. Just worked out. And I was in the city with my friend Kate both times. Like I got out of work the day of Game 6 when they were I don't even remember they were playing, but when they won in Boston, we drove up at 5 p.m. on I think that was a Tuesday it was Tuesday. We drove up from New Jersey to Boston, 5 hours, got there at like 11 o'clock at night, and watched like the last 3 innings at a bar a couple blocks from the stadium. And it was cool because there was a delay on the TV and they won on a strikeout. And we could hear the people at Fenway cheering before we saw the picture on the TV. So it was like, it's kind of disappointing because we didn't get to enjoy it like as a moment. But like, the fucking building was shaking. It was awesome. And then I was down in LA for LA Comic Con. I think it was LA Comic Con for the weekend when we beat the Dodgers last year. And Kate lives in LA now, so like we both got to be together for those. It was pretty cool.
Awesome, man. That's awesome. Yo, man, we could talk about sports, we could talk about comics, we could talk about many other things. But right now, man, I want to say thank you, Frank, for coming on the show, sir. I really do appreciate your time. This has been a long time coming. I've been wanting to do this right before Dead End Kids dropped last year. Um, Better late than never is what they say, man.
We were just getting ready, just prepping. Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, and thanks for everybody who watched and jumped on the newsletter. If y'all heard about No Heroin here and it sounded cool to you, definitely make sure you pre-order that. You can pre-order it through the SourcePoint website, or you can order it through your local comic shop. Definitely do it through your local comic shop if you got one. If you don't have one, do it through SourcePoint. It's an awesome book, and I'm excited to get it into people's hands.
Yeah, man, check it out. I read it. Story is great. The artwork's fantastic, and don't miss it, guys.
Yeah, don't sleep on it like you did on Dead End Kids, everybody, because I'm not going to be able to get you more copies.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Yep, got mine right here, man.
That's Chris.
By the man himself, sir. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say everyone out there, happy Mother's Day and be safe. If you're quarantined, just where they're opening up the quarantine recently in certain areas. I know Florida, I believe in California, they're opening things up too, sir. Am I right or wrong?
A little bit, like some parks and stuff. We're looking at like a phase 2 opening, I think, next week or the week after. But it's going to be pretty restricted here for a while. I think we'll probably be inside through June.
All right. If you need a haircut, you know where to reach me at. I great haircuts. I'm pretty sure, Frank. If you need a haircut, I can do a virtual haircut.
Yeah, I'm wearing a hat for a reason. It's getting long. I'm usually pretty clean cut.
All right, guys. Make sure don't forget to check out Frank on his description below. All his links are right there. Follow him on social media. Support him. Support your LCS. And with that being said, take care. And Frank, don't go nowhere, sir.